Okay. So today, this is what we're going to do today. I know that video is long. I'm aware that video is long, but you have to still watch it because it's going to help you. What we did yesterday was a fragment of what um like what you ought to know, right? So we are going to you are going to watch that. You are going to watch that. Have to watch it. You have to watch it. You have to watch it. Okay. We're just going to go straight. I want to go straight at it. So today I want to teach you about mockups. Let me teach you about mockups. Um, so we talked about logo presentation, right? The other day we talked about logo presentation. How many of you enjoyed yesterday's class? Okay. Okay. Let's begin. Let's begin. So we talked about mockups the other time. We talked about how important mockups are, right? How important they can help your logo to uh, be more presentable, right? To be more presentable. And one of the things we talked about was, I think, you making your client the center, or let me say their customers, the center of everything while you are doing your presentation, right? Mm, okay, so if we're saying we're making our customer, if we're making our customer the or the customer of your client, or your client the center of everything, means you will have to you will have to like bring the logo in a way that your client will be able to understand it. You have to do it in a way that your client will be able to understand it, right? Your client has to be able to understand the logo, has to be able to understand the logo. And one way of doing that is by presenting the logo in a context that your client will understand. Okay. So you don't just give your client the logo in just a flat format. Don't give your client logo in a flat format. Like what we did yesterday when we were when we were making when we made our logo and we exported it, it was flat, right? It was very flat. So not all the clients you have would understand that. Not all the clients you have would understand that. You would have to put it in a context that they will understand. Put it in a context that they will understand. Put it in a context that they will understand. So welcome to today's class, and I'll be teaching you on mockups, right? I'll be teaching you on mockups, how to use mockups to properly present your logo. Okay. Like I said, I want to see everybody taking notes. So let me see you taking notes. If you have a question, then after the class, you can ask your question. Okay, you can ask your question. So when you make a logo as a, let me say, a graphics designer or a logo designer, you make a logo, for instance, and let me say you give it to a client. Okay, you give it to a client, and that logo is just flat. That logo is just flat. Do you know that is as good as like I would say in one of my notes, or when I was showing you my slide, my logo design two-page notes, right? So I would say that presenting your logo can fast track or facilitate how better your client is going to receive that logo. Okay, how better your client is going to receive that logo. So um, one thing you want to do is to always present your logos right. Present them, present them rightly. Okay, and it has to be within context. Okay, so I'm going to start by telling you a very brief um, story, a very, very brief story. So there's this guy named Sagi Aviv. Sagi Aviv. So Sagi Aviv is a brand identity designer. Okay, he does logos for. He has done logos for like major major companies um, that are global companies. So there was one time he met with a client, right? He met with a client, and client asked him to design a logo. The client asked him to design a logo, and I think that logo was for check for Animal Planet. Animal Planet logo. Check for it. Animal Planet. Okay. So conservate. Okay. Okay. So Sagi Aviv was like, let me say, contracted. If you guys can hear me, just snap your finger, snap your finger, snap your finger. Okay. Okay. So Sagi Aviv was contracted to make a logo for Conservative International, right? Conservative International. And if we look up that logo, is a very simple logo. So Conservation International. Okay. So Sagi Aviv was commissioned, or let me say contracted, to make a logo for Conservation International, right? So it's kind of a wildlife company. So they help to conservate animals, right? So just like wildlife, it was more of conservating animals. So they contracted him to make that logo, and he did something that was so simple, so simple. So just search for that logo, Conservation International. So just look at the logo while I'm speaking, right? So it was he was or don't worry, let me show you, here. So you could see here, you could see the logo, right? This is the old logo, this is the new logo, right? This is the old one, this is the new one. And while he was contracted to do this logo, so he met with his team and everything, and he started creating the logo. I'm sharing the story because it's going to give you a lot of perspective to why we do this, right? So he met with his team, and they worked on something. They worked on a lot of things, and at this time logos were beginning to be modern. Okay. And for you to know, for the sake of knowledge, um Porand, if you check it out, Porand was the one that started making modern logos, that started bringing about this kind of simple logos that are so modern, right? So it was it was that era, that we had this guy. Okay, let me say very much past that era, but we are having all these modern logos trending, right? All these modern logos. So he was given this task, and he wanted to simplify this. And you should know that it is very difficult with the logo you are seeing, right? The old logo you are seeing. How do you simplify this? Where do you want to start from? How do you start simplifying this thing? You can see that it's just like a forest. You can see a monkey and everything. So, and the the owner was so attached to this, so attached, so to the logo, so attached to it, so attached to it, so attached. So what was the solution he provided? What was the solution that changed the game? Can you guys see my image? If you can see my image, just wave. Can you see my image, or it's just audio? Like, you can see my face, right? You can see my face, right? You can't see my face. You guys didn't talk. Well, I'll fix that. Okay. Okay. So he made this video, and he okay. Let me start from while he met with his team. So he met with his team and was looking at this logo. You could see the logo is all like the logo is a definition of what we say when something is busy, right? It's very funny, and you could imagine how would somebody create that kind of logo. But the owner of the brand was so attached to this logo. The owner of the organization was very, very much attached to this logo, because it spoke volume about what they were doing, right? You could see the bush there, you could see the forest and everything. I'm making this story before I teach you about mock-ups so that you understand why mock-ups are important.